News tonight at 10. So far this year, Salt Lake County has seen 14 officer-involved shootings, the highest profile case, that shooting of a 13-year-old autistic boy.
And with every new officer-involved shooting, there is a renewed call for justice. I sat down with the Salt Lake County Sheriff, the district attorney, and the victim of an unjustified shooting to look at how justice can be served on all sides.
It's 5 years later, and it's still hard to process of exactly what happened that night.
Dustin Evans will never forget October 30th, 2015. While entering a car wash in Midvale, he saw a man he didn't know shooting at police.
So I made a split decision, hop out of the vehicle, get safety, because if he's shooting at the cops, who knows what he's going to do to me.
Evans ran for his life.
Next thing I know, the door shatters and I fall to the ground.
Shot twice in the leg, once in the hand.
Another cop had came over and was like, this is not the guy that we're chasing jumped the fence.
Evans, a father of 3, did not know if he'd survive.
I'm gonna die in my truck. I'm not gonna say bye to my kids. I'm not gonna say bye to my wife.
9 months later, Salt Lake County District Attorney Sim Gill ruled the shooting unjustified, but stopped short of filing charges, calling the matter an honest mistake.
The officer was reacting to something, but he was mistaken. So it didn't make sense for us to prosecute that person.
The officer who shot Evans was placed on administrative leave, then returned to work 3 months later.
Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Since Gill took office in January of 2011, he's reviewed 104 officer-involved shootings. Only 8 have been ruled unjustified, a reflection, he says, of current law.
The threshold that law enforcement has to meet is very low in terms of how to use lethal force and when they get to use lethal force.
Charges have been filed in just 3 of the 8 unjustified shootings. All 3 of those cases were ultimately dismissed.
But the threshold for prosecution to hold them criminally accountable, very high.
Protests here in Utah and nationally call for more officers to be charged, but Gill says that can't happen unless the law changes.
What the citizens are getting and what they expect from law enforcement are 2 very different things.
Salt Lake County Sheriff Rosie Rivera does not think the state's use of force law should change.
I don't know one officer that wakes up in the morning and wants to take a life. They want to save a life.
Drop it!
Rivera says when an officer harms or kills a citizen, it is a life-changing event for the officer as well.
It takes a toll. Many don't even make it throughout their career. They don't make their 20 years after they've been involved in tragedy like that, and it's been tough. We've seen some take their own lives after because it is a stressful job.
Officer-involved shootings can take several months to more than a year to investigate.
We have officers sitting at home right now waiting, and when you talk to them, it just seems like it takes forever for an outcome.
We asked Sim Gill what can be done to reduce that time.
The easiest way we can do that is we can reduce the number of shootings.
Gill says his office is not given any additional resources to investigate an officer-involved shooting, adding to that, political pressure.
We just had a recent shooting, and I've got a mayor out there saying that we want a quick and swift outcome out of that.
The problem? Gill had 9 other officer-involved shootings to review before the September 4th shooting of Lyndon Cameron, a 13-year-old Salt Lake City boy with autism.
When a citizen is shot or killed in our community, do we not want to be deliberative about that? Do we not want to be thorough about that?
The question now, what should accountability look like after a police shooting going forward?
If the cops are not held accountable for their actions and they know, oh, I can shoot this guy and be back on the force in a couple weeks, paid, what does that do? It doesn't do nothing.
Not all cops are bad, and we don't agree with the bad either, and we do everything that we can to make sure that we are giving them the support that the officers need, but at the same time holding them accountable. And that is what our communities want. They want us to hold our own accountable.
In the United States of America, there's 3 ways you can kill a human being. One is by 30 years of appeals on a death penalty case. Second is by declaration of war by Congress. Or third, when a police officer shoots a citizen in our community. And if you think about the first two versus the last one we want to circle the wagon.
Now, the three people we interviewed agreed on one thing. Police, they say, need more training. Dustin Evans told us he'd like to see police get more training in the end as well. Sheriff Rivera says most police departments, they don't have enough funding for training. It costs up to $5,000 each time to bring in an expert. District Attorney Sim Gill told us his office has already spent $500,000 on use of force training for police when he was first elected. We wanted to let you know what's happening in your own community, so we posted details on every single police shooting in Utah this year. It's on KUTV.com if you'd like to check it out. Start thinking about it and talking to your legislators about how to move forward.